Good morning. I'm Rohit and welcome to Contemplations on Rumi. Today we are going to be reading from a wonderful poem of Rumi, and that poem is called Craftsmanship and Emptiness. Okay. For those of you that don't know Rumi, he was, I think, from the 13th century and a great scholar of Islam, but at the same time someone who went beyond all religion and found that place of mysticism which refers to the idea of a direct connection with the divine. Um, his story is incredible, and for those of you that haven't read it, it would be fascinating reading. I first got introduced to that through a book called The 40 Rules of Love, where he talks about his meeting with his teacher Shams of Tabriz. Many people think they were lovers, but that's utter nonsense. They were in love with love. And if you've ever wondered what that means, um, this would be your chance to understand, or maybe today we'll talk about it. Let's see what shows up. Today is a wonderful opportunity to dive in deeper, so stay with me as we do that. Rumi says here, I've said before that every craftsman searches for what's not there to practice his craft. Every craftsman searches for what's not there to practice his craft. A builder looks for the rotten hole where the roof caved in. A water carrier picks the empty pot. A carpenter stops at the house with no door. Workers rush towards some hint of emptiness which they start to fill. Their hope, though, is for emptiness, so don't think you must avoid it. It contains what you need. I'm going to read through the entire poem just so you get a sense of it, and then we'll break it down. Dear soul, if you were not friends with the vast nothing inside, then you would always be casting your net into it and waiting so patiently. This invisible ocean has given you such abundance, but still you call it death, that which provides you sustenance and work. God has allowed some magical reversal to occur, so that you see the scorpion pit as an object of desire, and all the beautiful expanse around it as dangerous and swarming with snakes. This is how strange your fear of death and emptiness is, and how perverse the attachment to what you want. Now that you've heard me on your misapprehensions, dear friend, listen to Athar's story on the same subject. He strung the pearls of this about King Mahmud, how among the spoils of this Indian campaign there was a Hindu boy whom he adopted as a son. He educated and provided royally for the boy, and later made him vice-regent, seated on a gold throne beside himself. One day he found the young man weeping. Why are you crying? You are the champion of an emperor. You are the companion of an emperor. The entire nation is ranged out before your star, like stars you can command. The young man replied, I am remembering my mother and father and how they scared me as a child with threats of you. Oh, he's headed for King Mahmud's court. Nothing could be more hellish. Where are they now? When they should see me sitting here. This incident is about your fear of changing. You are the Hindu boy Mahmud, which means praise to the end is the spirit's poverty or emptiness. Mother and father are your attachment to beliefs and blood ties and desires and comforting habits. Don't listen to them. They seem to protect, but they imprison. They are your worst enemies. They are afraid of living in emptiness. Someday you'll weep tears of delight in that court, remembering your mistaken parents. I have a feeling I should break this up. I just started to read it, and then I realized, my gosh, you're really going to get lost here. So let me go through it from the beginning again. Let's start. Rumi begins the poem with saying, I've said before that every craftsman searches for what's not there to practice his craft. It's a really insightful statement, because when you're an artist, when you're a potter, when you're a painter, you're a writer, you step into the void, you step into the unknown. You have no idea what your canvas is going to unfold. You have no idea how that clay is going to what shape it's going to take. You have no idea what words are going to come out as you begin to write, or as I read this to you, I have no idea what words will come out as I speak. So the craftsman searches for what's not there to practice his craft, for the part that is not known. For the known, we go to our books, we go to Google these days, we go to someone who is learned and knowledgeable. But how do you go to find the unknown? There is a river of wisdom out there. And if you learn how to step into it with an empty mind, you'll be able to tap into that river of wisdom. It's available to all of us. And within it lie the secrets of the universe. It is where Christ got everything. It's where Muhammad got everything. It's where every spiritual teacher found everything. It is where every poet found everything. It's where a painter, writer, everyone got their inspiration from. And that is the place that Rumi is about to talk about here. A builder looks for the rotten hole where the roof caved in. A water carrier picks the empty pot. A carpenter stops at the house with no door. So there is an opening, and in marketing terms, people might call that a niche. A place where there is a need for something. A carpenter stops at the house with no door because there's a need out here. The builder looks for the rotten hole where the roof caved in. There's a need out there. But more importantly than the need, and more importantly from trying to fill some requirement that somebody has, that's of course the way of the craftsman. That's the way of the laborer, the person. But the master looks even deeper. Workers rush towards some hint of emptiness, which they then start to fill. Their hope, though, is for emptiness, so don't think you must avoid it. It contains what you need. This is the search for the master. The master craftsman, or the master artist, or the master spiritual master is one who has gone into the emptiness. It is like the hero's journey that Joseph Campbell talks about. It is going into the emptiness, into the dark cave, the place where the dragons guard that entrance as you begin to enter it, and they come to attack you, to stop you from entering it. But the one who is valiant and the hero enters into that cave, slays those dragons, and walks into the emptiness of the cave, not knowing what will be found out there. It is the grand adventure of life. We're always wanting to discover, we're always wanting to know, we're always wanting to find out. This is where it happens. Dear soul, if you were not friends with the vast nothing inside, why would you always be casting your net into it and waiting so patiently? Now, that's a strange statement, so let's clarify. This invisible ocean has given you such abundance, but still you call it death. That which provides you sustenance and work. God has allowed some magical reversal to occur, so that you see the scorpion pit as an object of desire, and all the beautiful expanse around it as dangerous and swarming snakes. He said, this is a real trick, this is a real illusion that God has created, that you see the world, which he compares to as a scorpion pit, as dangerous and swarming with snakes. You see that as the place to go. And death, which is the emptiness, the sense of losing yourself, the sense of becoming nothing, of annihilation, fanha, as the Sufis call it. You see that as the place to avoid, the invisible ocean. You see comfort in safety and security, and not in annihilation and death. That is the great tragedy. Those who seek safety and comfort and security will inevitably meet with death. Those who seek death will inevitably meet with glory. Why? Because, and I don't mean someone who's suicidal, not at all. That is not the death we're talking about. It is not about the physical death. It is about the ego death. It is about the death of that which is false. It is the death of that which appears real, like this world appears real, but is not. It is about that death, the death that takes you beyond the limited to the unlimited, the death that takes you from the known into the unknown, the death that takes you from matter into spirit. That death is what we're talking about here. This is how strange your fear of death and emptiness is, Rumi says. This is how strange your fear of death and emptiness is, and how perverse the attachment to what you want. So many people now have come along who teach doctrine of law of attraction, attracting what you want. But all great spiritual teachers in the past have cautioned you against this. Your desire will never bring you happiness. The things of the world will never bring you solace. The comforts of the world will never give you what you seek. What you seek is much bigger, much deeper, much grander, much more beautiful than anything this world can offer. How perverse the attachment to what you want. Now that you've heard me on your misapprehensions, dear friend, listen to Athar's story on the same subject. He strung the pearls of this about King Mahmud, how among the spoils of his Indian campaign there was a Hindu boy whom he adopted as a son. He educated and provided royally for the boy and later made him vice regent, seated on a gold throne beside himself. One day he found the young man weeping. "Why are you crying? You are the companion of an emperor. The entire nation is ranged out before you like stars that you can command." The young man replied, "I am remembering my mother and father and how they scared me as a child with threats of you." You meaning the king, who has now adopted him and made him vice regent. "Oh, he's headed for King Mahmud's court. Nothing could be more hellish." That's what they would say. Where are they now? Where are my parents now, when they should see me sitting here? This incident is about your fear of changing. You are that boy. You are that Hindu boy, Mahmud, which means praise to the end. Is the spirit's poverty or emptiness? Is the spirit's poverty or emptiness? We'll explore that in just a moment. The mother and father are your attachment to beliefs and blood ties and desires and comforting habits. Listen to them. They seek to protect, but they imprison. So he's saying your attachments, your desires, they seek to protect you, but they lead to imprisonment. You become imprisoned by the very things that you have, the people that you're attached to, the things of the world. They are your worst enemies. They make you afraid of living in emptiness. Someday you'll weep tears of delight in that court, remembering your mistaken parents. Know that your body nurtures the spirit, helps it grow, and then gives it wrong advice. Know that your body nurtures the spirit. So as a child, your body nurtured the spirit, and you were able to grow, and you were able to develop into this being that you are today. Helps it grow, and then gives it wrong advice. What is the wrong advice that the body gives you? That you're not safe. That the world will come to harm you, and you need to protect yourself. You need to set up boundaries, and you need to be comfortable, and you need to make sure that nothing can harm you. But that is not the way of spirit. No. The body comes eventually like a vest of chainmail, so that is armor. The body becomes eventually like a vest of chainmail in peaceful years. Armor is required for war. Armor is not required for peace. Too hot, so that kind of an armor, when worn, in peaceful years, is too hot in summer and too cold in winter. But the body's desires, in another way, are like an unpredictable associate, whom you must be patient with. And that companion is helpful because patience expands your capacity to love and feel peace. The patience of a rose close to a thorn keeps it fragrant. It's a wonderful analogy. The patience of a rose close to a thorn keeps it fragrant. When you recognize that you are close to death at every moment, it makes you live. It makes you feel alive. You know that every moment is precious. You know that every moment is important, that every experience matters. It doesn't matter if the experience is good or bad, because when you've left this world, when you are out of this body, every experience will matter. It will not be a question of whether it was good or bad. It will be a question of, what did I experience there in this world? What did I take away from it? How did that enhance me as a being? That is what will matter. Thank you, all of you who've been joining. Really appreciate your being here. It's patience that gives milk to the male camel, nursing in its third year, and patience is what prophets show to us. Patience. Patience yields the deeper meaning of life. Patience is what shows us the way, right? The beauty of careful sewing on a shirt is the patience it contains. Friendship and loyalty have patience as the strength of their connections. Feeling lonely and ignoble indicates that you haven't been patient. Feeling lonely and ignoble means undeserving, not good enough, indicates that you haven't been patient. Be with those who mix with God as honey blends with milk. See, being with God, as many people think, is not about going to some church, temple, or mosque. It is becoming one with God. It is blending with God as honey blends with milk. There is a sweetness that happens in the milk, and then there is a texture that happens in the honey. Both are benefited by it. When one is with God, it is not about being right. It is not about being saved. It is not about being better. It is about not being. It is about having entered the emptiness. It is about having found that which one was seeking for all along. In all of matter, in all of the things you desired, in all of the relationships you had, in all of everything that you were seeking, you have found that fulfillment. And that lies in the emptiness that lies within you. So go into that emptiness like a warrior, like a traveler who goes into foreign lands. It is terrifying in the beginning when you try to enter it. It will feel lonely and desolate. It will feel like the desert. It will feel like you have entered into a place where you will be destroyed, and that is what the ego is feeling, and it is right. It is experiencing terror. But as you enter this, as you take heed of how it feels, and as you notice the beauty of that emptiness, as you overcome fear, and as you overcome your attachment to the world, and to your thoughts, and to your needs, and to your desires, and to everything that was holding you here, as you go deeper and deeper into that place of emptiness, you experience a freedom from everything and everyone. You are, as Christ would say, in the world, but not of the world now. Rumi continues, anything that comes and goes, rises and sets, is not what I call love. Anything that comes and goes, so people come and go, things come and go, days come and go, your body gets young and old. Anything that comes and goes, rises and sets, is not what I call love. Oh, then what is love? Is love not some perfect person that you will meet one day? No. Rumi says no. Anything that comes and goes, rises and sets, is not what I call love. Then what is love? Live in the one who created the prophets, else you will be like a caravan fire, left to flare itself alone beside the road. Live in the one who created the prophets, or God. Live there. Not in some heaven. No, that's the mistake people make. Live there now. How do you do that? Through that place, that emptiness. That is the doorway. That is the doorway to God. And you will come through it, not dark and sad and lonely and afraid. but rather you will conquer fear and become fearless. You will conquer time and become timeless. You will conquer all that is suffering and rise beyond it once and for all. Live in the one who created the prophets. Else you will be like a caravan fire left to flare itself out besides the road, destroyed. Else you will be destroyed. Else you will become reduced to ash, to nothing. And that is the case for all of us. There are powerful meditations in which one can engage. These were practiced even by the Greeks. Marcus Aurelius talks about it and is talked about by various teachers along the way. The practice of contemplating death. And they would contemplate the different stages. Even in Buddhism, they would contemplate the different stages of death, like where the flesh begins to rot, and then the maggots set in, and then beyond the maggots, how furthermore the vultures will come and eat the body, because they would leave the body out sometimes. The people who were poor could not even bury or burn the body. They would leave it out for the animals, and the wolves would come and rip it apart. And it sounds so grotesque and so horrible, but that is the fate of the body. Find, Rumi is saying, the thing that resides within your body, and that is your spirit, your soul. It contains within it all that you desire. It is a wonderful adventure, and it comes through silence. It comes through that emptiness. It comes through that place where there is no thing, because you are no thing. You are nothing, no thing. And within that no thing state, you will find everything. Everything. It's not just a catchword, it's not just a phrase. It is what all mystics throughout the ages have discovered. It is something you and I can discover here and now. It means peeling off all the layers of thought, all the layers of emotion, all the layers of identity, all the layers of attachment and belonging. And you say, oh my gosh, that's impossible. But I tell you, nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. There are either processes by which you get there, or there is grace by which you get there. And if you believe in the grace of the divine or of God, then it will carry you and lift you into this incredible space where, as Rumi says before, there is this beautiful field beyond right and wrong. Right and wrong is the mind. Beyond right and wrong is a beautiful field. I will meet you there. Thank you so much. I look forward to meeting you here every Monday, somewhere around 9:30ish. Right now, I've still not settled in on the time, but somewhere around 9:30. Just be there, wait for me. I will definitely be there. So I look forward to seeing you every week. Stay in touch with me if you like. I'm on Instagram at rohitjuneja.us, or you'll find me on my YouTube channel. Search for Rohit Juneja. You'll find recordings of these readings of Rumi's poetry, as well as many other things on my YouTube channel. So look for me there. And I look forward to staying in touch with you. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Thank you. Thank you so much for your presence. Lots of love.